Well, howdy. It's been a hot minute, but this could not come at a more appropriate time because I just passed my 1 year anniversary as a DM. And in that, I am taking stock appropriately and making big changes. So, this video is going to be about how I killed my party so that I could revive it. We know that what dies turns to soil, and from that, new life can grow. This is going to be about the three kind of biggest mistakes that I made. The first one is like a no-brainer. I had this, I'm a pen to paper person, so my note-taking system was like my notes app, another app in my phone, and then just like random papers like recycled printer paper, some beautiful painted paper that a friend had sent me, other pieces of paper from like a women's circle that I went to, and I would just write on the back, or I would get some printer paper fresh and then like write both sides. And I never numbered these pages. And oh, also I have index cards that I would write on. So, and all these like different places for my notes. And then I didn't ever keep them in chronological order. I would then compile my notes into my living journal, which is like what I use while I'm actively DMing. That is organized very well by like what's sort of going on at the time, and then it's also color coded with highlighter, and that is huge. But we're not talking about what works right now. We're talking about what kills. Notes were chaotic. I could feel it getting to a point where I was like, ooh, I need to find something. Where is it? And I knew that it wasn't sustainable. Like, even starting out like that, you just know, like, this is obviously temporary. So, like, that's just out of the way. That's number one. Just don't be so unorganized that you can't put it all together. The second really, really big mistake, I mean, this is probably the biggest mistake. I did not hold a session 0. Looking back, now at a year versus just starting, I remember even making my first video and being like, I don't know even where to go for resources, or like, I can't find what I'm looking for. And now I really have spent hours on hours researching. I know what I'm looking for now. Like, I just have a better foundation. Whereas like just coming in as being a player previously and trying to like piece together. We started with Candlekeep Mysteries, and from there I had given my players like one little mystery piece that was like I had just thrown in there, and for whatever reason that's what they latched onto. So we did one dungeon out of Candlekeep Mysteries. We thought we were going to do all 17, and that's like how we were going to play D&D. And instead it was like, oh, now we're world building. And so I was always trying to stay one step ahead, one session ahead, and that felt very linear and confining to my players because I would have to kind of funnel them, try not to railroad them, but at the same time you kind of have to, because that's all that's available in the world to them. And so I would tell them, like, I kind of have to know ahead of time at the end of a session, like what we're going to do next session. So like, are you planning on going north, or are you going to go south? Choose now. And it just really sucked a lot of the fun out of it. So having the session 0, getting everyone on the same page of like, okay, this is how we're going to build a party for what kind of world, and having those conversations up front rather than trying to string it along after the fact. The third mistake that I made was not really paying attention to Player's Handbook 2024. I didn't realize that it was so different from 2014. I thought it was just like a few updates, and then I finally looked through it and I was like, oh gosh. Yeah, I didn't really take a look at it, so there was a lot of confusion, especially because my players are all new. Really just getting everyone on the same page. So all that to say, like, those 3 mistakes: not being organized, not having a session 0, overlooking, I'll say, the Player's Handbook 2024 updates, those three things made for a very chaotic and less fun than it could have been experience. Though we did have a lot of fun. I will say that we had a lot of fun. But yeah, I let the world die because it felt like it was really on this linear, confusing path that I was excited about the plot that I had pulled together, but I wasn't excited about the dynamic we had built without the foundation of the session 0. So, all of that to say, I killed it and took a little breather. We had like a session sub-0, so like fresh group, session sub-0, where we're just like having conversations and like getting to know the game. So right off the bat, I remedied my note taking by getting this sketchbook. Yeah, it's already, I mean, world building is a whole other crazy, wonderful thing, and I love it. And I feel so much freer and more creative actually building the three-dimensional world rather than just this linear progression. This feels a lot more cohesive and exciting to play in. So I love having everything right here. Like I said, I'm a pen to paper person. I just don't really like getting on my laptop at all. This is where my first iteration of notes will be, and then I transcribe them over to the living journal. And I also use this one just for like simple ideas. This one kind of like fits in my bag. I also organize my books in a way that feels very neat and tidy and nice, and I can take them places. But yeah, this box, it says Lone Star Galaxy. It is one of my clients gifted something very beautiful in this box, which is her business. So living journal is in here, and sort of give you a tour of that at some point. But yeah, it's also like scrapbooky, which is really fun. And I really like to have like printed out things, invites to our next session, but also like in-game tickets and letters and different things. So I keep all of that in there. I also have in here all of my old notes. And I use this super cute mushroom tape all the time in the living journal, so I keep that in there. I was in a wedding at the Renaissance Festival in Texas, and one of the bridesmaids' gifts was this stamp, the letter of my first name. Thursday boot box. Smells like leather. In here I just have all of the D&D books and some dice. So yeah, everything is like tidy, and that feels good. So I'm learning a lot about world building now, and I am smitten, and I'm just excited to keep going on this route and play our first session. But of course, first we have to have our session 0.